Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney said there was no business case for exporting LNG and oil. Both of them have opposed pipelines. They're on the record. Don't be fooled. The last-minute promises they make before elections are not even worth the promises, not even worth the paper they're written on. Only the Conservatives will repeal the Liberals' anti-development law.
Let's move ahead to, I just want to go to this one video of Poilievre, who says that he's, that he's not MAGA. Trump said, oh, this guy, Poilievre, he's not MAGA. Okay, Trump. He's not supposed to be MAGA. He's Canadian. He shouldn't be Make America Great Again. He should be Make Canada Great Again. Like, he should be Canada first, because that's who he's planning to lead. So I thought that was just sort of a weird criticism. But anyways, Poilievre points out the lack of foresight, again, by the Trudeau Liberals in blocking all those darn pipelines. He said, if we had 1 million barrels of Western Canadian oil going to Europe right now, would Putin be able to fund a 3-year-long war? Ain't that the truth? If we had natural gas headed their way, we could take a bite out of Gazprom funding the war machine. But don't mention that to a Liberal. Anyway, let's watch this video.
The best way to provide support is by selling Canadian energy, breaking the Russian monopoly that finances the war. Putin has total dominance on the European energy market because Canada, under Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, has said no. I wonder sometimes, if we had 1 million barrels of Western Canadian oil going to Europe right now, or 3 years ago, if we had thousands of cubic feet every day of natural gas going to Europe from Canada, would Putin have been able to fund a 3-year-long war? I doubt it. But Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney said there was no business case for exporting LNG and oil. Both of them have opposed pipelines. They're on the record. Don't be fooled. The last-minute promises they make before elections are not even worth the promises, not even worth the paper they're written on. Only the Conservatives will repeal the Liberals' anti-development law and rapidly export Canadian oil and gas and other materials to break dependence on dirty dictators and bring home powerful paychecks for our people.
Sheila, that's a profound point. And going back to, I mentioned Germany earlier on. Do you know right now, Germany is dependent on Russia for 60 to 70% of their oil needs. 70%. And you're going to be talking tough to Russia when Russia can basically win a war with Germany by turning off the taps. And I think Mr. Poilievre is right. The idea that this government said there was no business case, liquefied natural gas alone, I believe with Germany, Japan, Greece, begging for our liquefied natural gas and blackface saying there's no business case. And that was almost 1 trillion with a T dollars. 1 trillion? No business case? I guess we don't have a homeless crisis. I guess we don't have Canadians going to the food banks. I guess we don't have unemployment and a cost of living and a healthcare crisis. Sheila, it's preposterous. And I hope Mr. Poilievre, should he become the next prime minister, he unburdens this nation of these shackles so that we can develop our energy sector and export our energy to a huge market that awaits.
Yeah, I mean, and the Liberals have done their best to hide the number of times Japan has asked us for access to our liquefied natural gas. For example, the last time the Japanese leader visited Canada, the only way you knew that he once again brought up the issue of liquefied natural gas was if you looked at the Japanese readout of the meeting, because it was not in the Canadian readout of the meeting because they don't want the world to know how many times they've said no to offset, like not just said no to selling Western Canadian oil and gas, but let's put it in their worldview, said no to fighting Russia with an economic sanction. This is an economic sanction against Russia, by proxy, by offsetting their gas that's going to the rest of the world. The Liberals wouldn't even do it that way, even if you approached it for them that way. They so hate. This is what I think. the Liberals hate Western Canada
Yep.
more than they hate Putin, right? That's
Oh.
the only way that I can come to that conclusion is, look, if you don't like Putin and you won't shut up about not liking Putin, why wouldn't you let us sell our oil and gas to the world to offset Putin's Gazprom? They won't let us do that. So what am I left to conclude? You hate me more than you hate Putin.
I think you're right, Sheila. Western Canada is a desert when it comes to votes for the Liberals.
Yep.
Secondly, it's a double whammy, isn't it? The other point, I believe, is ludicrous virtue signaling. We're fighting climate change. We're not going to contribute anywhere in the world to CO2 emissions. So those two factors, I think, are the 1-2 punch driving this government, because fiscally, this is lunacy.
Yeah. Speaking of lunacy.
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com.